experience each and every one of you. I ask now, how may we be of service to you? You may begin, if you wish, with your questions and dialogue.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
So excited to feel your energy. I have several questions. I was like picking up the best.
Speak up, speak up.
I will speak up.
Thank you.
All right. So
everyone needs to hear what you have to share.
Yes. So many things. But well, first of all, I would like to thank you for sharing with us whatever.
It is always our joy, our pleasure, our passion, our excitement to do so, whether any of you are listening or not. That's just who we are.
Okay.
But thank you for the co-creation.
Good. I wanted to maybe to start with something that pops in my mind. I just wonder whether you would be willing to connect with this.
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
All right, okay. It's about what Willa said once. There was like a session of 5 levels of mastery, and
yes.
there was one level which is sage, and
yes.
It included, as far as I can remember now, allowance of consciousness of the other people to participate in a created reality.
Yes.
So is
consciously.
Yes. How?
Because it's already being done. Obviously, you're all agreeing to participate in a reality that seems similar to other people's realities, but that's all being done from that level of agreement. It's just that the sage can do it consciously in a way that allows people to go into agreement in such a manner that they actually can see the reality around them change consciously, physically, because they are being invited into a frequency that allows them to perceive multiple parallel reality configurations.
Now I get it. Okay.
Yes.
So it's up to the sage to
extend the invitation.
Right. To be able to tune up to that frequency,
yes,
which will
be
compatible.
Yes, but the sage knows how to do that in such a way that it is highly likely that other people will engage in that invitation and perceive what the sage is vibrating at.
I got it.
Yes.
So that's the challenge. Okay.
Yes.
One more question
yes.
is about my job. What I do is I'm training actors, and I do believe that that's
one expression of your passion.
Yes, but more.
There was some hesitation there.
And no, not at all.
All right.
No, I will surprise you. No, it's a way to work with consciousness and
yes.
to actually in a sense, what you are doing when you connect to my higher self.
Yes, all of you, when you do what you love to do, are in the channeling state. Acting is one of the ways to express the idea of expressing other aspects of your personality to such a degree that, in a sense, you truly become another person. That's the channeling state.
That's correct. So that's what I was going to say. Thank you for saying this
yes.
for me. And my question is, do you have any suggestion of an exercise which could be great?
You're asking for a permission slip?
No, I'm asking for... Oh, maybe. I don't know. We have a bunch of exercises, but something
yes.
that would come from you, because most of the exercises we have don't actually tune up to this concept.
All right. Well, has your imagination come up with an exercise that you believe would work better for you?
Yes, it has.
Then why are you asking us?
Because I wanted you to share something that would surprise me. Aren't you willing to do so?
You want a surprise permission slip?
Yes.
Do you understand what permission slips are, first of all?
Yes, of course I do.
All right. So, all right. Arrange 7 mirrors, full length, around you in a circle.
Okay.
Stand in the center. And for each of the mirrors and each of the reflections in each of the mirrors, know that you're not actually seeing a reflection. You are seeing through a window into another parallel reality version of yourself, literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
I'm familiar with this concept.
All right.
Good.
And therefore, as you engage each in a unique dialogue, Allow yourself to begin to go with the flow of what each of the reflections, that is not a reflection, that is another version of you in a parallel reality, actually feels like saying to you, and start responding to that. And go around the circle and start having those 7 different conversations in 7 different styles as you take your cue from what you feel coming from that version of yourself in that parallel reality, and see what that does for you.
Wow, that's wonderful. Actually, what you're talking is about, you are talking to me about 7 versions of that, and in
Yes.
different, yeah, good. Okay, wow.
Does that help
Thank
you?
It definitely does.
Then do you have what you need?
I have another question. I have 2, 3 questions, right?
I don't know. We'll see if you are.
Oh,
But
there
you
are
can
no
ask it.
rules. Okay.
You can
okay.
ask it.
Do you have time? Yeah, okay.
It's all about the timing, and it's all about having what you need. But go ahead and we'll see. Sometimes the question you ask is something others may also wish to ask, and
Sure.
that way you can help answer it for them.
Sure. That's why I do care about asking stuff that's not for, that would benefit eventually other
Tick
people.
tock.
Okay. Yep. And the other question is, well, I believe you learned something from communicating with our civilization.
Of course we do.
Is there something that's unique about the experience you're having with our civilization?
Well, as we have said, one of the most unique things is watching you attempting to stuff yourself into a smaller space than you actually can occupy by limiting yourselves so fantastically. It's an amazing acrobatic act to watch. Many people in the galaxy would not believe that it would actually be possible to limit yourselves as much as you do.
Right, but that's why you call us masters of limitation.
That's why we call
right.
you masters of limitation. Yes.
Right.
It
so
is constantly amusing.
I know that because we buy into negative beliefs, but that,
Yes.
it's a nasty job, but someone has to do it, right?
And you have chosen to do so,
okay.
which makes you a master class in transformation.
Right, so we are kind of electrons that.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you.
Yeah, it's a compliment, I guess.
We know.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And you good day.
Bashar, I am following my passion.
Yes.
I've become a teacher of lucid dreaming.
Oh, all right. How exciting.
It's very exciting.
Yes.
And I want to share a lucid dream with you
Oh, all right.
and get your feedback.
All right. If you need it.
So, in my dream, I am in a garage and something happens where I have that magical transformation and I realize that I'm dreaming.
Yes.
And I shout out to the dream space. I say, "Show me something important."
Yes.
And I begin to swirl around the garage, and I'm brought around to a bumper sticker on the wall, and it says, "Put your outer alien magnets on."
All right.
So what does it mean to put your outer alien magnets on?
It means that you can amp up your ability to perceive the information and experience that is coming to you along energetic lines of connection you have made to extraterrestrial sources. So in that you have made those connections, you can amplify them to more consciously receive the information that you are getting by having made those connections. You can attract magnetically more information.
I think standing here today is a way of putting my outer alien
It's
magnet.
one way, yes. We are happy to be magnetized by you.
So as the dream continued, I entered the house.
Yes.
And there was a kitchen, and my mother was on a bed in the kitchen, and
Yes.
she had 2 small children on her lap. And she says to me, "Oh, you haven't met Polar Bear yet."
Yes.
Polar Bear being the nickname of one of the children.
Yes.
Can you tell me anything about Polar Bear?
Polarity.
Ah, polarity.
Yes, polarity. Understand that at this point, even though you understand you are dreaming, you are still experiencing what might be called a screen projection of other beings communicating with you in a style that your physical mind will understand You're still not seeing the raw experience
Right.
of those beings, but your physical mind needs to work with certain symbols that make sense to it so that the information you're being given will be downloaded correctly and interpreted correctly for your reality. So even though you can have some degree of lucidity in such experiences, in many cases you will still experience things that are somewhat symbolic. Nevertheless, you're being given an opportunity to know that there is a connection there for you of a being that exhibits the idea of polarity so that you can work with that concept a little bit more consciously.
Okay, thank you.
Yes?
One other dream to share.
Yes.
In this dream, I'm looking into a garage again. This time I'm in the house, and it's like a window into the garage. And at first I think I see a child.
Yes.
At this point, I've realized when I see this sort of small person, I look more carefully and I see it's actually a woman.
Yes.
Who's maybe middle-aged, but she's only about 3 or 4 feet tall.
Yes.
And she identifies herself as a fairy.
In a sense.
And at this point, when she says that, I have the realization that I'm dreaming.
Yes.
And we start to converse.
Yes.
And she asks me, can I talk to him? As if she's talking to some other element of me.
Yes.
Do you know what she was referring to or asking when she said, can I talk to him?
Yes, your higher mind.
So she wanted me at that moment to connect with my higher mind?
Yes. And channel it through. Talk to him through you.
And what is she looking to learn from my higher mind?
Oh, all sorts of things. So that she can understand you better, understand the theme you chose to explore, understand your physical mind from the higher mind's perspective, understand how it is that you have chosen to navigate the experience of physical reality, because reality for her is very different. So it's kind of like an ambassador attempting to understand a different culture through you, through the eyes of the higher mind, which it can relate to a little bit more easily than it can relate to the physical mind. So it wants the higher mind's perspective of your physical component so that it has a better chance of understanding you.
Very, very good.
Does that help?
That helps. I think I'm done.
Pleasant dreams.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
My first question to you is, for first contact specialists here on Earth, is there a crystal or a group of crystals that they can work with that can prepare them and help them be the best first contact specialists that we can be when that time comes?
Yes.
Can you please tell me what those crystals are?
Yes. I can.
Will you please, what are those crystals?
First and foremost, let's get this out of the way. P, repeat after me.
P,
E,
E,
R,
R,
M,
M,
I.
I.
You know where this is going?
S-S-I-O-N.
And what does that mean in context to your question?
That means whatever permission slip I give myself, so whatever crystal.
Whatever you're most attracted to with that concept and intention in mind, you're attracted to because that's the one at that moment that will work for the person you have defined yourself to be in that moment. Okay. Yes?
Yes.
Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't general mass consensus agreements that already are in place where certain permission slips might be more representative of the mass consensus. One of those, in light of the question you have asked for the idea of extraterrestrial frequencies, is what you would call Moldavite. Ah. Yes?
It's the synchronicities are coming in because I was speaking to a friend about that crystal earlier before you started.
Whoa, what do you know? So the next question would be, do you trust the synchronicities that pop up in your life
Yes,
as
sir.
obvious signs?
Yes, I do.
All right then. Please learn to understand how to trust the way your life unfolds and that the information you require is always going to be presented to you synchronistically in exactly the perfect way at exactly the perfect time. And therefore, you don't necessarily have to wonder whether you should go and ask someone else whether or not it's this or that when you already have the information. Yes?
Yes. And thank
Does that
you.
help?
Yes, thank you for that remembrance.
All right. Anything else?
Yes, I do. So about 2 years ago, I had 3 psychics back to back tell me that I was going to meet my twin flame, and I would know it when I met him. And I did. And
How do you know it's a him?
Well, when I met the person, it was clear to me that that was the person and he's the man.
All right. Just checking.
But Bashar, I was
Yes. But what?
frustrated. It did not. I
You
know.
were frustrated?
Well, because
Yes.
it did not go well, and there was resistance on.
No. I wonder if that could possibly have turned your attention to the idea that a twin flame doesn't always have to be for the purpose you think it is.
Oh.
Oh. What's our basic definition of relationships? Everyone in the relationship serves everyone else in the relationship by being the reflection they need at that moment to teach them how to be more of who they are, not what the person thinks the relationship should be for.
Yes.
Oh. So there are many kinds of twin flames. The idea doesn't necessarily always have to be reflective of what humans on your planet think of in the romantic sense. The idea is it's going to be the reflection that teaches you the most about yourself and gives you the opportunity to decide that you get to choose how to respond to things that come up that are unexpected in either a positive or a negative way, and that teaches you a lot about what you're willing to buy into about the truth of your own being.
Yes.
And no twin flame can do better than that.
Yes, and he did that. Yes. Thank
All
you.
right, then.
Thank you.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does.
All right.
And I have one more question.
Do you know?
Yes, and this is about Chiron. I am an astronumerologist, so
Yes.
I work with, I'm a spiritual psychologist, and I work with astrology and numerology.
Yes.
And I was given a download recently about Chiron,
Yes.
and that now that we're in the 21st century, Chiron does not represent what that planet or whatever it is was in the 20th century. So I wanted to know if you could give me some clarification
On that permission slip?
well, Chiron as a heavenly body and its origin, and was it a planet?
It was a long time ago a piece of a planet.
Oh,
Yes. Now it is just the piece,
okay. Because
and not the planet.
okay, because I was told its representation now is to be a healer in the 21st
You can
century.
use it that way, but it has a very specific vibration. The vibration is the idea of, well, I'll put it colloquially in your language, it is good for healing the idea of any kinds of connections you're holding on to of the past that don't serve you. Yes?
Yes, yes.
It has a specific frequency that is sort of bent in that direction, which signifies and sort of reflects the idea of holding on to the past of it being a planet when it is now not a planet and needs to be taken at face value for what it is.
Okay.
Yes?
That makes sense, yes.
So it helps bring you into the present. And another way to say that is, yes, it helps bring you into the 21st century, which is why its meaning has changed.
Ah, okay.
Does that help you?
Yes, thank you for that clarification.
You are welcome.
All right.
Now, by all means, go strike a match.
Thank you, Bashar.
And see what you can learn from that flame.
Okay.
The match and the flame within you. Yes? All
Yes,
right.
thank you.
Yes. Good day.
I like a mirror maze to go through, and I was thinking of that is what's going to show, like how you're getting in to this reality, like because it's showing Daryl's reflection in the prism thing behind him.
What are you asking?
Okay. So there's a mirror maze, and there's a bee with a wing in half, and I was thinking, what is a bee? And I was going through it, and then I was thinking, a bee should be able to fly, and it started to fly. How can I use the mirror maze and to like choose probabilities and?
Well, what kind of a state of being did you experience when you had those perceptions? How did it allow you to feel?
Calm and trippy.
All right, well, then it's showing you that that's the state of being to come from in all endeavors in your life. Come from that centered state. It's showing you to get you to remember that existence is, even though we talked about the idea of positive and negative and neutral, is actually very slightly bent in the positive direction, because a neutral state allows you the opportunity to choose what you prefer. So even if you just let go and flow into the current of existence in a neutral state, the current will slowly carry you in the positive direction. So it's showing you how to use the neutral state in a way that will help carry you in the positive direction for yourself. So come from that balanced state, that calm state, that peaceful state, that neutral state in all things that you choose to do in life. And if you just go with the flow, it will carry you where you need to be carried. Does that help?
Yes.
All right.
You mentioned a psychedelic stronger than DMT. I was wondering what that was.
Well, there are many different kinds of ways to use the teachers of the earth. DMT can be used in a soft way, a gentle way, or a very powerful way. It has a lot to do with your state of being. It has a lot to do with the specific dosage. It has a lot to do with the way in which you might actually take it in. Of course, there are such things also as what you call ayahuasca and many other kinds of teachers on the earth that can take you on vast journeys into yourself. Again, it's just about what you're attracted to use, but by all means, if you should choose to join such a teacher, please remember that, like we just said, the teacher's fundamental job is to familiarize you with certain states of being so that ultimately you can just create those states of being yourself and no longer need the teacher to do it for you. Yes?
Yes.
So, whatever you're attracted to is what will work most strongly for you at the moment, as long as you remember that at some point it's really teaching you how to create that state for yourself. It doesn't have to feel the same. You just have to know that every time you remember having been in the state, you're actually in the state again. Even if it doesn't feel the same, you're in the state you need to be in that is correct for the you happen to be at that moment. In fact, as we have sometimes said, the trick of that is, if you can remember having been in that state, you actually already have to be in the state to even have the memory of being in the state. Because you can't perceive what you're not the vibration of. So you would never have the ability to remember a state if you weren't already in that state. That's the trick. Does that help?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I have one question for you.
Yes?
Why don't humans get heart cancer?
Why don't humans get heart cancer?
Yes, sir.
Is the question that he asked. Because as we will discuss tomorrow evening of your time in the Triad Mind transmission, the heart is receiving a direct flow of energy from the higher mind in a certain frequency that does not permit such things to exist. Now, there can be obviously what you would call heart disease, but that is for a different reason, and we will go into this more deeply tomorrow night of your time.
Thank you. That's all my questions.
All right. Thank you. You could say, we will get to the heart of the matter.
Good evening, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have 3 questions. The first one is, as a child, I saw this being in my grandmother's basement in the dark, and I didn't speak to it, didn't speak to me, but I was drawn down there, and I looked at it, and it was a being in a lotus position with a tremendous blue light around it, the kind of blue you see in the stove.
Yes.
Who was that and what was that?
All of you have different kinds of guides. You understand this?
Yes.
You were given an opportunity to see one of your spirit guides. That was there for you, letting you know that that guide is always there for you. And the energy reflected in the blue light, again, is representative of a state of being, so that every time you remember that blue light, you're in the appropriate state of being that represents your best ability to move through life in a creative and joyful and constructive and positive way. So it's acting like a beacon, like a lantern, in a sense, by remembering that light. Yes?
Yes.
It attempted to imprint that in your mind so you would always have a reference for that energy, for that state of being. And so, what else?
So, years later, I was in the desert with a guide or a teacher. It was my first time, and we got lost.
Lost in the desert.
Yes, lost in the desert. And she was experiencing the death of her daughter, and I was just following her, and I realized that we were lost.
Yes.
And I had no idea where we were.
Sometimes that's a good thing. It breaks you from all assumptions and expectations of where you think you need to be and allows you to truly improvise and use where you are in the strongest possible way. Sometimes you have to get lost to really find yourself.
And what happened was that this feeling came over me.
Yes.
And out of my life said, the all.
Yes.
The all.
Yes.
The all.
Yes.
And we went back to our camp, and it's like my life expanded and merged with everything without any guidelines or intellectual. We went right back to my camp.
Yes. Like I said, sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself.
And my last question is, I feel I'm on the verge of breaking through.
To what? More of yourself?
More of myself. Exactly.
Are you acting on your highest passion every moment that you can to the best of your ability with no insistence on a particular outcome? Yes, no, maybe? No. Hesitation usually means no.
Yes. No.
All right. So the next logical question is, why not?
That's a good question.
Thank you. Do you have a good answer?
Yes. No.
What is the resistance to being your true self? You sense that a breakthrough is about to happen. The key to unlocking that breakthrough is that formula we just gave you. If you always choose to know that what is your highest passion at any moment, what contains the most excitement more than any other option, is a vibrational reflection of your true frequency, and you act on it to the best that you're able to, taking it as far as you can till you can take it no further, and you do that with absolutely no insistence or assumption as to what the outcome is supposed to look like, you are actually using the instruction manual for how reality works. And when you do it that way and follow that formula, you will see your life will unfold and open up in a very, very magical way. You will allow the breakthroughs that need to happen to come to you in an effortless way. You will see that synchronicity will expand and increase in your life and show you exactly what you need to do, in what order you need to do it, and when and how. And all the tools of the kit of excitement and passion will unfold before you so that you can flow through life along the path of least resistance and discover whatever may be still within your unconscious mind that is out of alignment with your excitement, so that you can identify it and let it go and add that energy to your excitement. And that process will leave absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, relevant out of your life.
Thank you.
Does that help you?
Yes.
Thank you. Now get lost so that you can find yourself again.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Awesome, awesome.
Before you continue,
Sir.
the epilogue to the last conversation is to remember that this is the reason you created the experience of physical reality, so that you could forget who you are. So that in forgetting who you are, becoming lost, you can remember who you are from a new point of view. You can discover something about yourself you couldn't without forgetting who you are. Getting lost is what allows you to discover yourself again from a new perspective. You do it all the time. It's the nature of your physical experience. It's the nature of your physical process. Do continue.
Thank you. Let's see, hey, Bashar.
Speak up.
Thank you, sir. We've been taking pictures in the morning of the sun coming up, and we have been seeing planetary objects.
Speak up.
We have been seeing planetary objects by taking film in the morning, and I was wondering, what are we seeing?
Can you describe what you're seeing more specifically?
Well, they look like large colored orbs that move around the sun, and they can be obscured by clouds, so we know that they're not lens flare.
Well, there are many, many, many different kinds of reasons for the existence of what you generally refer to on your planet as the orbs. The orbs can be a somewhat energetically physicalized representation of an extra-dimensional being or a spirit. An orb can be a temporary impression or intrusion from one reality to another that is poking into your reality and manifesting the energy in the form of an orb. It can be a probe from certain high-level technological civilizations that themselves actually are what you would call artificially intelligent. They can be different kinds of energetic phenomenon that exist in nature that you're unfamiliar with at this point. It can be many different things. You have to kind of take them on a case-by-case basis to understand which one you might be looking at any given moment.
As planetary objects, because we're seeing more than at least 7, sometimes 12, different colors, different sizes.
Well, different colors simply represent the idea of different energy states. And different sizes can represent many different things. It can represent the level of energy that you're experiencing. It can sometimes actually be representative of a true size in physical dimensions as you understand it. It can also be somewhat misleading sometimes, because sometimes translations from one dimension to another may appear in your reality to be a size that actually has nothing at all to do with the size of that thing in its own reality. It's just the way it gets translated into yours, sort of like it gets distorted.
Because we can't see it with our naked eyes, but we definitely see it on the film. Could it be like
Yes.
reflection off like a glass dome? Is there a glass dome?
Your films are sometimes very sensitive to frequencies that your eyes can't see yet. But as you expand your consciousness, more and more of you are beginning to be able to actually use your senses to see the orbs with your eyes. In actual fact, of course, you're seeing them with your brain, but you get the point.
Of planetary size, because they're larger than the sun sometimes.
That is an illusion.
That's an illusion, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, on the dome question, that's it. But I want to say thank you for the imagination. I've actually changed my whole life.
Well, thank you for changing your life.
Yeah, just based on the imagination principle.
Yes.
It's all imagination.
Well, it is, yes.
And the neutral position actually allows you to be able to make the cake the way you want to.
Imagine that.
I know. It's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much, Bashar. That's it for me.
Thank you.
Next time.
Hi, Bashar.
And a you good day.
This is going to sound weird, but I be getting this dragon, my dreams.
Yes.
I feel like I cross his reality and he doesn't mind. We go for rides and he takes me on these crystal caves and
All right.
falls. And
Yes.
I just, for some reason, I want it to be real. I don't want my...
It is real.
It is.
In another dimension.
Okay.
It's not physical in your dimension. It's real in another dimension. It's as real to them in their dimension as your physical reality is to you. But of course, remember that your physical reality isn't real. So what's the difference?
Okay, so I'm not making this up in my head, and so
The experience is the only thing that needs to be real. What you get out of the experience is the true reality. The symbols that are used, that is simply what needs to happen, because that's what will work for you to give you the experience that you need, so you will have the information you need to move forward in your life in the way that works best for you. It's all real in some context. You can't imagine non-reality. That doesn't necessarily mean it's physically real, but that doesn't mean it's not real in its own context, in its own reality, in its own dimension. There's a wide range of concepts that are contained in the word real. But you can always bring it down to, what was the experience? What did you get out of it? What did you learn? How did it feel? That's the reality that's important to focus on. Because that's why it happened. To give you that experience, to give you the information, to give you the lessons you learned about yourself in that experience. So it's not really about focusing on, was it really real? In all the ways it needs to be, yes.
okay.
Does that help?
Yes, thank you. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
So, all the range of emotions that we feel,
Yes.
they're all neutral?
The idea in general is that there is a neutral circumstance under it, but the emotions you feel are usually the result of a definition you've given to the neutral circumstance.
But what
It's the
about the
definitions
emotions?
that generate the experience of the emotion. The neutral circumstance may be the framework that allow you to generate the emotion, but it's not that the emotions themselves are neutral.
So, emotions can be positive and negative.
Absolutely. Energetically speaking.
All right?
Yes.
So, when negative emotions come up,
Yes. They can still be used in positive ways, such as the idea you would call fear. So if you find yourself in fear, you can say, how can I use this, which might be representative of a negative belief within me, to find out what that negative belief is? First of all, the fear is bringing your attention to the fact that it's being generated by the fact that you might have a definition that's out of alignment with your true self. That's the first step, and therefore fear acts as a messenger, knocking on your door and bringing your attention to the fact that you have something within your consciousness that you were unaware of. Now that it's brought your attention to it, you can work with it. So you can say, thank you, fear, you're my friend. And now that it's done its job, it can go on its merry way, because there is nothing now to be afraid of.
so if fear is my friend, then it's not really negative, is it?
You can use it in a positive way. You can create the experience to be positive, even though the mechanism itself may seem to have been generated initially from a negative definition. Anything can play double duty. Everything, as we said, starts from the neutral place, but the neutral place contains both positive and negative. So yes, everything can be expressed or experienced positively or negatively, but each thing unto itself is still representative of a certain state that was generated by a positive or a negative definition. So even if its roots, even if its origins happen because of a negative mechanism, that doesn't mean you can't turn it around to get a positive effect for yourself. But that doesn't mean that the fear itself is positive. The effect in the way you use it is positive.
So it's all about the response that I give to.
It's all about the response. That's all it's all about. It's not about what happens, it's about what you do with what happens.
So can I say that, for example, fear is or could be part of the circumstances? Like, it doesn't really
not
matter.
the neutral circumstance, no. But it's part of the circumstance you've created as a result of defining the neutral circumstance in a negative way. You have to understand that there may be more than one way to use your word circumstance. Mm-hmm. There can be an originating circumstance that might be neutral.
Yeah.
But then there can be the circumstance that is the result of you defining the neutral circumstance in a certain way. That's still, in your language, considered a circumstance. But the circumstance that's the result of the definition is not the same circumstance that's the neutral one to begin with.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Your language. Telepathy is so much easier.
And since we're speaking about the fear,
Yes.
A year ago I was talking to you.
Yes.
And you told me to follow my fear.
Yes.
And it was...
Follow your fear to find out what it is that's holding you back from being yourself.
Yeah, you just said to follow my fear.
We said more than that.
Maybe telepathically.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So fear wasn't like... It wasn't my intuition masking as fear. Or was it?
Intuition about what?
About what I should do. That I was perceiving...
You can do that. As we have said, you can make your excitement seem like anxiety. You can disguise your anxiety to seem like excitement. You have to have honest self-investigation in order to tell the difference, and that's why we said follow it. If you understand how to follow it and how to use it, you will find out what the definition is, and you'll know whether it is you're masking your excitement or emboldening your anxiety to appear as if it's excitement. You'll be able to eventually tell the difference. Just takes practice, that's all. And honesty about your investigation within yourself.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Certainly, you can tell the difference really if you stop and think about it and let go of all of the conditions that you put on circumstances. If you just let that all go and just sit with the idea of the experience, certainly on a fundamental level, you can tell the difference between true excitement and anxiety. Can't you?
I can.
All right. So all you need to do is understand that in every given situation where you might feel a little confused about what you're actually doing, go back to the fundamental place where you can tell the difference. And then start from there to look at the circumstance that exists, look at the idea of your excitement and your anxiety if it's there, and it can help identify and inform for you which is which and what you're doing.
Okay.
Because then you have a basic, shall we say, litmus test for what that actually feels like, one way or the other. So when you get used to the difference in the vibrational feeling, you'll become more sensitive to picking up that resonance when you are disguising your anxiety as excitement or when you are disguising your excitement as anxiety. You'll become sensitized to the vibrational difference the more you familiarize yourself with the vibrational difference on a more fundamental level when you're not allowing conditions to get in the way.
Can you have both?
Both what?
Anxiety and excitement at the same time?
No. You can flip back and forth so fast that you think it's happening at the same time, but it's not. You're actually choosing. Negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. Remember that you're flickering in and out of reality billions of times per second. It may seem like it's all happening at once, but it's not. It's always a choice, no matter how fast.
Bashar, how come you know us so well? Can you experience same things as us?
Understand that when we decide we're going to make contact with a civilization, we will always choose to have at least one life in that civilization so that the civilization is understandable to us. Therefore, we are drawing upon the experiences that exist within the lives in other civilizations we've connected to in order to understand how to respond to you based on the experiences you have in your civilization.
So you're cross-connecting to your parallel.
Yes. Yes. It's part of the training we get as first contact specialists to know how to do that. Will
Bashar,
that help you?
Yeah. And would you like to do a magic trick on me?
A magic trick?
Yeah.
All right. Turn around 3 times. Tell me when you've done it.
Done?
Now disappear.
wave of ascension.
The first wave of ascension.
Yes. I'm just curious.
What's that in your mind?
Well, from my understanding, that it's a collectiveness that's volunteered to come here to help ascend.
You mean all of you?
Right. So why? So that's not a true.
It's an interpretation of an idea. It's true in its own context, but the idea simply is that many of you have decided that this is the place to be. It's where it's all happening. Look at this transformation going on. Let's be a part of that ascension process. It's going to be so exciting. So, all right, first wave of ascension.
Okay, because I thought, because it's a first wave, so I was like, how many are there? That was my question.
As many as you want. How many would you like?
Just for my
one
here, yeah.
Well, then, I guess the first wave of ascension will also be the last wave of ascension.
Okay, that changes a lot of things for me.
Yes, it does.
Okay, and then my second question was earlier, you told the first lady that came up here about the 7 mirrors.
Yes.
Why 7?
It has to do with different levels of consciousness that work well for you in your physical reality, different vibratory states that are representative of a permission slip that allows you to connect to those higher levels of mass consensus reality, the soul level reality, oversoul level reality, higher mind, physical personality, and many other aspects that you use all the time. It's just the easiest vibrations for you to connect to for these kinds of transformational purposes.
Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
One moment. Look how many representations you have in your society of the number 7 that you consider to be, quote unquote, lucky. 7th heaven, lucky 7. Yes? Well, you're the ones that set that up, so we're happy to simply use the devices that you've established within your own collective consciousness that make it easier for you to utilize and access those particular permission slips. That's all.
It's also a number of as a sun civilization, right? You're connected to 7.
We're connected in many ways, but wait your turn.
Hello, brother. How you doing?
Perfect, and you?
Phenomenal.
All right.
I almost knew I was going to come up tonight.
Almost knew?
No, I didn't know. I totally knew.
Thank you.
Okay. As soon as I wrote my name.
Extremely educational for you to explain to us the state of being described as almost new.
Yeah, it was pretty phenomenal. I feel really connected to tonight's topic.
All right.
And the origin of the name of as above, so below, and the being and the origin that comes from.
Yes.
And it's phenomenal. So I feel so connected to the triad mind, what's going to be spoke about tomorrow night.
Yes.
And with that said, I'd like to go into the origins of those beings.
What beings?
The Anunnaki.
All right.
And the bloodlines of the Anunnaki.
We will delve a tiny bit into that.
Can you tell me the origins of Hermes Trismegistus, or Thoth, is father and bloodline?
Well, Hermes Trismegistus is farther down the bloodline than Thoth is?
Same incarnation of the same soul?
Well, same oversoul.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that reincarnation is an illusion.
Yes.
Yes, everything exists at once.
Yes.
You can have the experience of reincarnation, but that's not mechanically what's happening. It's simply that as you perceive through linear time the connections that you make from the now, you perceive them as if they are memories.
Yes.
Therefore, you call them reincarnations instead of multiple simultaneous incarnations, coexistent with me now.
Yes.
Nevertheless, the idea in linear terminology of Hermes is a little bit farther down the line, and yes, is connected to the idea of a similar oversoul extension to Thoth. But in terms of the idea of the Anu origins, you're actually talking about something that comes from a different dimension.
So you couldn't say like Enki is the previous bloodline before Thoth.
You're talking about something that is actually a parallel bloodline, not necessarily a linear one.
Okay. So the different, would you say the two warring factions of like what they talk about Enlil and Enki
Yes.
being two different distinct bloodlines that have been at
That's
conflict?
more precise.
Okay. And so the Brotherhood of the Snake and the origins of the Brotherhood of the Snake were from the Enki lineage of the incarnations of like Adam, Jesus, and some of those teachers.
The snake representing the concept of ancient wisdom, yes.
Okay, because Hermes appeared himself before me with a great serpent, a great cobra, totally under control and totally utter poise.
Yes.
And so what is the meaning of that like great polarity to command
Well, as I
such
say,
darkness?
ancient wisdom.
Ancient.
The idea of tapping into the ancient wisdom that exists within all of you at your core and releasing it in that way. It's like a coiled serpent that then can spring forth and bring you the ancient wisdom into your conscious mind if you lock into those vibrations in the appropriate way.
Excellent. And I pondered on this vision so much that I'm finally going on a vision quest to Sedona that I'm really excited about. And do you have any places in mind that I should go to that are pretty powerful spots that you highly recommend?
I highly recommend?
That you highly recommend.
The one that I would highly recommend would be Bell Rock.
Bell Rock.
Since it's directly under our ship.
Will do.
And it is actually the center of the vortex.
Excellent. We'll make connections.
All right.
Thank you so much. I have another question about cryptocurrency and how the evolution of cryptocurrency, as you see that as a natural flow in our society as a replacement system?
Nope.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
It is an experiment. It will have its benefits to inform what will eventually evolve, but as it exists in its present form, it will pass into history.
Excellent. And I have another question. I experienced a really intense experience, such as an exorcism I did on myself with many different permission slips that you actually gave me.
Why did you believe you needed to be exorcised?
Well, it just kind of happened that I had this kind of deep tension hidden behind my heart my whole life, and I happened to get to it to where no other body work or whatever go that deep on my body.
So you released your own demons, so to speak?
I did.
All right.
And then I was taken before the scales above the gods, and I
Is
could
that
see
another snake reference?
the scale. No, it's not. No, it's not.
I know, I'm joking with you.
And I had such profound experiences this past year of my acceleration happening so much and so much allowing my true self to come to so much fruition that you helped me with, and not being in any shame or utterance of who I am.
Well, thank you.
It's been so nice. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And now with these things that I've done, I was just really curious because like I hit this, because many times you've told me about other incarnations I've had that
Not you have had, but that you're connected.
Yes, but
remember, first of all, that changes dynamically as you change. It's not a static thing.
Yes, I see.
No, the idea is that because reincarnation is an illusion, and you're really just connecting to multiple simultaneous incarnations as you need to for the person you are at any given moment, when you become a different person, you actually connect to other incarnations. The idea in your old-fashioned way of looking at reincarnation is saying, well, I was this life back then, and I will always have been that life back then. No, it's a dynamically changing thing. As you change, you don't connect to the same lives.
Yes, this is a refinement of the oversoul right now.
Yes.
So that's what I was experiencing in myself in that exorcism, because I could touch this tension so deep in me that it gave me vivid hallucinations of a parallel life getting stabbed in the heart by my brother behind
how
my back.
Exciting.
And me and my brother have been at war my whole life, and we're both intense lifelong martial artists, and we've always feuded our whole life.
All right. Well, thank you for having your heart-to-heart.
And it was great, because at the same time we were going through like tons of business feuds and everything, that he went behind my back, and it brought up all these things. And
all right.
It was so great to be that, and that was such an amazing release in my oversoul that's allowed me to be more of myself and release that tension. And ever since that time, I've been able to do greater work with my students and go deeper within the soul of people, and not to be shied away of the darkness and speak the light when darkness is present.
Yes.
And that's kind of what it's all about, is this accelerating positive energy that's not taking more bullshit and seeing things for what it is.
Bring it down to the most succinct form.
Okay.
Know thyself, be thyself.
That's it.
Period.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Shivai Bashar.
Shivai.
I'm me from Sweden, as it is now.
Speak up.
Yes.
So that all may hear what you have to share.
Thank you. So, I have these conversations many times
Speak
before.
up.
I have been having this conversation many times before.
Yes.
And now again.
And so?
I don't know what to say.
You just said a bunch.
Yes. But that's what I was thinking before. So now...
You don't have to say anything. You can say hello.
Yes, I would love that.
All right. Then say hello.
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 I am...
Will that do?
Yes, it... No, it won't.
Oh,
Because
so you do have more to say?
Yes, actually.
Oh, all right.
I have something for now as well.
Oh, all right.
I'm a first contact specialist, as
All
you.
right, if you say so.
Yeah, I do. And since I am a first contact specialist, and that's my excitement.
Yes.
You like excitement?
One expression of your excitement.
Yes.
Not necessarily the only one.
No. In a way, I do the same things when I do the other expressions, so it's no difference in that sense.
And so?
Yes. It would be very excited for someone like me to know which species is gonna face us here on Earth first.
I am not allowed to tell you that. But obviously, the Aiel hybrids will be among the first. But it has not been fully decided who will be actually the first to make open contact in the way that we mean open contact. Obviously, you all have been contacted in one way, shape, or form. Obviously, there have been other extraterrestrial beings that have landed now and then and made contact with many people on your Earth. But that's not what we're referring to in terms of open contact. But the Aiel will be among the first.
Yes, and the others depends on the split-offs, so to speak.
It depends on the shifts
Changing,
that happens from there.
Different timeline.
Yes.
It's a lot of changing.
But they won't necessarily be the first. They may be, they may not be. That hasn't been decided yet.
So we'll see.
We will see.
Nice.
Does that help?
Yes, very much. Thank you, Bashar.
You are welcome.
Shivai.
Shivai.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I'm super nervous. But what brought me here today is, I guess, what's the most interesting thing. So through a lucid dreaming experience, I asked about, I suppose, what people would think of like as an abduction experience if I'd experienced it. And so I asked.
Yes.
And I was presented with the experience. And in that experience, I believe that I was there in that experience and I met you. And in that experience, what was awesome about it was that the beauty of it was that you were present with me. It wasn't what, like, and in that moment, because I connected back with it.
Yes.
You were able to speak to me very clearly, and that's actually what brought me here today. I actually am here in LA this week for a training. I had this lucid dreaming experience on Monday.
Yes.
And in that experience, you told me about, just this tapestry that we're all a part of. But you said, I'm having an event soon. And so after this lucid dream, I go online and I'm like, oh, wait, it's happening on Friday. And I will be leaving LA on Friday. So here I am today.
Thank you for your synchronicity and for your engagement.
Thank you. So if I had a question to ask you, it would be just about something personally that's happening with me. And it would be that I am pursuing in my life a grand goal, a grand dream, a grand thing it speaks to me. It's a part of my heart. It's a part of like my mind.
And what is that?
To help those that think or maybe believe they can't be helped, and also to help the people that I care about the most.
And when you say you are pursuing it, does that mean you're not already doing it?
I am, in a small way.
What difference does that make? And how do you know how big it might be to someone else?
I don't know that it's any smaller or bigger.
Exactly. So why put that condition on it? Why not just simply know you are doing it and allow whatever effect it needs to have on someone to have that effect in the way that they need it? Why limit it with certain kinds of definitional parameters when it doesn't need to be limited that way?
Because I want something different.
Well, if you understand that wanting is its own state, then when you want, all you get is more wanting. But if you are being, then you will experience the being of it, the experience of it. The idea is to have what you need, because you know on some level what you need, and therefore if you're going to quote unquote want anything, I would suggest that you want what you need, because that will get you anywhere you need to go. You don't have to really want. You just have to be, because everything you need in life is built into just being who you are. All the arrangements, all the agreements, all the appointments, everything that's relevant in your life to help you express more fully who you are, which automatically will help others just by being yourself, is built into the flow of your life. It's built into the current. Wanting slows everything down because it doesn't need to be there. Wanting is not a need. You don't need to want. So why want when you can just have what you need? Make sense?
It makes total sense.
I
And
know.
honestly, that's
That's why I said it. That's how reality works. That's how nature and existence are structured. You don't need these superfluous things. It's already automatically functioning. Go with the flow. Everything you need is in your unique flow. You don't need to want more than you need.
But what if I want to design it in a certain way?
Design it however you wish, but only use the design as a symbol to get you excited and in the proper state to receive what you actually need. That's why we urge and encourage all of you to use visualization as strongly as you can. Have the greatest, most delineated, most detailed, most colorful, most powerful image of what you believe represents an idealized outcome. But understand that the key word is represents. Not necessarily will be exactly what you see. But if you understand that you're designing that just to get you into the proper state to receive whatever your higher mind will actually bring you that will be what you truly need, you would understand that your picture, your visualization, is actually a limitation on receiving something that could be many magnitudes better than you were capable of imagining. So why limit it to your physical mind's capability of visualization when the higher mind can see so much farther, so much grander, and bring you something so much greater than what the physical mind is actually even capable of imagining?
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you, Bashar.
Does that help?
It does, a lot.
You see, this is what it's all about in terms of turning your definitions around. Many of the things you have been taught to believe are the things that get you to the places you need to be, are in many ways actually what limits you from getting there. That's why you need to open up into your flexibility of definition. And anytime you make a plan, that's fine. But always include in the plan a portion of the plan that gets rid of the plan, so that you can be flexible enough to allow the plan to evolve. Plans are not rigid things. Plans are just the ideas, the seeds that get you motivated, get you moving. They form a kind of framework for your physical mind to sort of hang on to. But please don't rigidize them, because then you're just trapping yourself behind bars.